Hi everybody, it's Janine again. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Also, welcome back to A Ride with Holly. Um, Goodness, I'm on my way to work today. I spent the morning doing a lot of emailing and, ooh, I don't like that puffy thing on my hair. Let me fix that. You know, guys, I'm a hairstylist, so I'm actually, gosh, I hate that puffy thing. It's got to go. Let's see. Let's just make that stand out a little bit. I'll have to fix it when I get to work because it's not doing it for me. Anyway, I am a hairstylist and I have two salons. One is in the county of St. Louis County and one is in Franklin County. So I'm headed to my job in Franklin County, Missouri. And of course, what is on all of our minds? I'll tell you what, oh gosh, hold on. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. The sky will be falling in a minute. There you go. Good. Okay. All right. We're good. Anywho, it is our life practically. Everything is about hyperscale data centers. It's almost like whatever happened to us before doesn't even mean a thing. But I am going to tell you something personal. Something very, very personal. And I'm not putting my glasses on because I can't look you in the eye. I can't look you in the eye because I'm driving. And I actually had a client tell me she saw me driving and videotaping and she prayed for me because she thought that I was looking into the camera the whole time. I said I was not. I was not looking into the camera. I'm looking straight ahead, eyes on the lines, making sure everything's good. But anyway, so again, I think I've told you that I'm 61 years old, and I'll tell you what, it's been quite a road. I was married and I had two children by the man I was married to, and there's a lot of stories that go with that whole thing. But I had two beautiful babies, 16 months apart, and I really loved those babies. But something just snapped in me. It actually was, I had it, my husband, he was a good husband in that he wouldn't let you die. Like, he'd make sure you got your food, he'd make sure there's a roof over your head and you're okay. But he wouldn't let you die. But if you were not pleasing him or doing things the way he felt that they were to be done, or even if you were doing something maybe that could have been done better, rather than saying, hey babe, let's talk about this, what if we tried it this way, or what if we behaved this way, meaning, I don't know, what time you had dinner on the table or whatever, he was always very cruel. He would attack in critical ways, and he would and I know that this is, to a lot of women, you're like, oh, that's all you went through? So trust me, I know. I know that I was never beaten or anything like that. No, I was not. But he was very psychologically demeaning. And I ended up leaving him, and I mean, it took a long time. It took 12 years. It literally was probably 9 years of truly wanting to be away from him. And there's a lot of reasons why. But after 12 years, I finally did it. And truthfully, the big reason was I didn't want to put my kids through that. Although I ended up putting my kids through a hell of a lot more. And it's unfortunate that we don't know what we don't know, and sometimes there's so much turmoil. There's so much turmoil going on inside here that we can't see the forest through the trees. It's really sad. But anybody, if you've ever been through that, I just want you to know, this is a fallen world. We couldn't be perfect if we tried. And again, a lot of it's that we don't know what we don't know. A lot of it is reaction to past hurts, or even just people can talk to you and treat you in such a way that you really do believe you are that way. And when it kicks in, I'm telling you, when that kicked in with me, he really had me thinking that I was incapable of doing anything right, or being anything right. And so when I left my kids with him, because he was a great dad, in that, he made sure your clothes were clean, he made sure your teeth were brushed, that you had dinner on the day. He was so reliable. And the way I was raised, pretty much like a feral, animal, just being left alone on my own, or being carted to different grandparents back and forth, I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any value to myself when I even came to this relationship. So being a person with very little value, and having that attitude thrust upon me every single day, I really thought that he was the best thing for my kids, and what I was doing was a loving gesture. And I have to tell you, it was such a painful experience that I felt so low and so lowly that I didn't even want my kids to see me. Like, I don't even know if people can understand that. I did not want them to see me. And I tried to fake it. I tried, when people are like that, just so you know, so that when you're dealing with other people, because I've healed from this. And so I'm able to see these characteristics in others because I got healed from this. Many things. God, my husband, counseling. God, my husband, counseling. Dogs, having dogs makes you feel better for sure. But then when you're highly insecure like that, and you're grasping to be a validated person in society, you're grasping to be a decent person in society, or somebody who others might respect, when you don't even respect yourself, then what happens? I'm starting to call it Donald Trump syndrome now, because when you're really insecure on the inside, so deeply insecure that everything that comes out of you is arrogance, because it's like overshooting. It's like trying too hard, way too hard, way too hard, like so hard, like the best kind of hard in the whole wide world kind of hard, like lots of hard. Anyway, so that becomes arrogance, or it can manifest in so many different ways in the way it appears to others. And there was just so much damage done in our relationship on my part. It wasn't my children's parts. Although, I will tell you, I don't think there would have been a right way to do things, because he was so demeaning to me. And my husband now, Douglas, who helped me heal, he's a very fair man. And he sees all of my foibles and all that's wrong with me, but he chooses to love me anyway. Anyway, he says that my ex-husband basically reared our children to disrespect me the way he did, whether they see it or not, whether they know it or not. And I kind of think that too. Now, I give my children a pass every darn day of the year, because they were children. They had the right. I think it should be a birthright to have parents that are good to you, that take care of you, that aren't messed up. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is. We're all messed up. Practically everybody's damaged in some way now, and it just has gotten worse and worse over the decades. So you can imagine why we're in such a messed up world. That, and the fact that Satan is actually the prince of the earth. He is the one in control right here. And the thing that we do know, and the thing that I know, that I know, that I know, is that the Lord Jesus reigns in heaven. He reigns in heaven, and he will come back one day. Go get yourself a Bible. If you haven't read a Bible, get yourself a Bible, flip right to the end section. And since it's really hard to read and understand, I am making copious notes in my Bibles to put things in layman's terms, so that hopefully when I'm taken up with the rapture, the people left behind can pick up my little book and they can look at the pictures and they can just look at the little notes and figure it out. But Satan's got control of this earth until the very end, and then Christ will come back. And those of us who are his bride, who are of his church, who believe on his name and believe what he did for us, and know that he is the risen Savior, we will spend eternity with him in heaven. Now, if you don't believe any of that, please don't turn me off, because I still have a message, okay? You can heal. You are good enough. You just have to find that in yourself. You need to forgive yourself for past mistakes, for past things you've done to people to hurt others. You need to forgive yourself, and you need to try to go on every single day attempting with all of your might to lead a righteous life, which you will fail at every single day, but just little increments. Little increments are big wins. And so what happened is, now my children become adults. My daughter, she lives overseas. She's embraced the Asian culture, and I can see why. I mean, she in Taiwan, those people are just so polite. There is a rule of culture, a rule of societal behavior, which Theresa, I should have said her name. Anyway, that is my daughter's name. It's a beautiful name, isn't it, Theresa? Anyway, but she gravitates towards that structure, and I appreciate that she gravitates towards that in the structure. And also, they are very polite and very sweet people, and Theresa is very polite and very sweet. So most of the time, yes. And my son, he lives in Kirksville, here in Missouri, with his wife and his two sons. And there's probably more stories about that later on, but we will wait on that. But bottom line is, I've got two beautiful grandchildren. Oh my gosh, so sweet. But neither one of our children speak to us, and you know, it's kind of things that have been culminating over the years. A lot of my son, well, whether it's the influence of his wife or not, who knows? It doesn't matter, because I had really wanted to just love her to death. But then again, I'm sure there's plenty of stories out there. We've all shared them in the salon, and you know what? Both sides have issues and both sides are wrong. So I will say that. Anyway, the bottom line is, I don't get to see my grandchildren. My son doesn't think his grandchildren need to be around people of our character. And, you know, I can understand if they want to feel that way about me. I get it. But my husband, he is a wonderful man of impeccable character. And the one thing he said one time was, I'd like to know what I ever did to them. Because, oh, that's Mr. Kreider calling, but I'm going to let him go for just a minute. Anyway, hold on, just let me. Anyway, so we don't get to see our grandchildren. One is 2 and one will be 2 and one is 4. And so, just really cute guys. But I I can tell you what, do you know why I can deal with the pain of not seeing my grandchildren? I couldn't always. I have just gotten to the point where I can do that because a blessing came upon the scene, a great big blessing. I have a fight, the fight for the fight of my life, the fight to try to save our nation and by extension the earth, because America has far more hyperscale data centers than any other nation in this world. And so if we save America, we truly save the earth. But I'm 61. I may live one more year. I may live one more day. Or I may live, I could live 30 more years. But I don't feel like I have very much to lose at all. If I lost all of my material things, so I lose my material things. But I have a daughter who won't speak to me, and I have a son who won't speak to me. And so the only thing I have to fight for are my grandchildren. And truthfully, my children. I don't want them to live their later years in the kind of oppression that we face based on the implementation of this technology that they are forcing down our throats all over the United States. Just ask yourself, if data centers are so great, why the NDAs? Why are they sneaking them in under the noses of residents? I'll tell you what, you can ask a 5-year-old that and they would tell you. I could probably ask a 4-year-old. I'll bet you my grandson would be able to tell me that. Anyway, so my fight is because I love them so much. It makes me ill to think of those 2 little boys living under what we believe will happen. And also, those little boys, they're being raised. My son is an outdoorsman. They like to do all kinds of things outdoors. He's a hunter. He likes to camp. He does all kinds of stuff. Get a hatchet out and cut wood up and do all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure his children are being reared to do that as well. I know we had a great time with my oldest grandson when he came to visit. But they're being raised in a lifestyle that would indicate that they want to see some green. They would like to have some animals around. You know, they appreciate nature and bunnies and birds and deer and elk and all kinds of stuff. Well, with the amount of hyperscale data centers that they are putting up on the earth in America, it's not likely that we'll see too much of that anymore because of the emissions, the light pollution, it really is a debilitating tonal noise. The emissions, the forever poisons that are emitted out into the it's the waste. It's evaporated into the air. The water that is cooling the systems is then shot out and it evaporates into the air. I suppose some of it that is released, if it still is in water form, it will go back into the water source or into the ground, again poisoning the earth. And of course, the massive power grids that are having to be structured to feed these demonic beasts. Okay, the electromagnetic fields that come off of these are also highly dangerous to humans. And so I just don't see a great world for my little grandbabies, those sweet little things. And that's why I fight. So if you saw this channel and if anything resonated with you, find your why. Find your why. And you know, it's not just for my grandkids, it's for everybody else's grandkids too, because I'm going to want my grandkids to have a friendship circle. I want them to have a community. I want them to fall in love and to date and to have families of their own. They can't do that if they're fighting for their lives because all of our natural resources have been depleted. So anyway, I love all of you, and I am going to work, and I'm going to have a happy couple hours with my lovely clients. But again, this entire world is under attack. Find your why. Type up some good letters. Send them to your governor. Oh, I forgot one thing. I want to play a game. I want to start a game. If you wouldn't mind passing this to some of your friends. It's who has the worst governor, okay? Who has the most corrupt governor in the United States? Okay, so our governor, Governor Mike Kehoe, I call him Governor Chemo because he's like a poison. Anyway, he ran as a Republican, but he's anything but a Republican. He is so progressive that your head will spin. Mike Kehoe does not care. He does not listen to a word the citizens of Missouri say to him. He doesn't care. He thinks that we are too stupid to understand the nuances of Missouri's need to become the next Silicon Valley. That's what he said just recently. He wants Missouri to be the next Silicon Valley. He has appointed a lot of people throughout Missouri to serve in government in different capacities. So he now has somehow bribed or somehow incentivized these people to do his bidding throughout. If you contact the county health department, they don't have anything to say about the hyperscale data centers. If you contact the Department for Wildlife and Conservation, they don't have anything to say about it. If you contact the state health department and public health and senior services, they don't have a single thing. They push you down to the environmental department, for natural resources and wildlife and all that kind of stuff. So everybody passes the buck. Every county, it doesn't matter how hard we fight. Some counties have these data centers. They're starting the construction before residents even know that it's happening. There's a whole lot more. This guy's a gluttonous pig. He reminds me of Jabba the Hutt. That's why I actually sometimes refer to him as Jabba the Hutt too. That is probably the best description of Mike Kehoe. So anyway, tell me, I think I have the worst governor. Although I will say, Texas, okay, one of you guys just might be in the lead because Greg Abbott has actually screwed your whole state over with so many hyperscale data centers, and now he's backpedaling because everybody's onto his game and they're going to get rid of him, and they're going to turn the whole trajectory of Texas politically because of him. So let me know who has the worst governor in the United States. Anyway, from Janine, Benin, and Holly, don't forget about Holly because she's a good little girl here, and we are going to get her cat fixed here. Anyway, you take care. God bless. And please, if you were so inclined, does it cost anything to like and subscribe? No, it doesn't. I'd be really grateful. Take care. God bless.